Members, this is the appointed time and we have a quorum. So I call to order today's meeting. We have one discussion paper today. And before today's meeting, the administration has already submitted ECI 2024-25 number 2. That's an information paper for members' circulation. This paper is about change of establishment of the directorate grade since 2002 and the implications on the directorate grade establishment. Now, let me remind members that if you have direct or indirect pecuniary interest in relation to items being discussed today, please disclose the nature of the interest before you speak in accordance with Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure. I'd also like to draw members' attention to Rule 84 of the ROP in relation to the voting requirements where direct pecuniary interests are involved. Right, today's item is EC 2024-25 paper number 2 from the Innovation Technology in Industry Bureau. Proposed internal reorganization of the establishment of the Office of the Government Chief Information Officer and Efficiency Office under the ITI Bureau to set up the Digital Policy Office with effect from 25th of July 2024 or with immediate effect upon approval of FC, whichever is later, responsible for formulating policies on digital government, digital governance and information technology. The administration consulted the ITI panel on the 8th of April 2024. And we are joined by Professor Sun Dong, Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry, Mr. Eddie Mack, Permanent Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry, Mr. Tony Wong, Government Chief Information Officer, as well as Commissioner for Efficiency, Ms. Patricia So. Since Ms. Elizabeth Quat is not a member of this subcommittee, nor is she a member of the subcommittee, I will explain the key deliberations of the panel on her behalf. The panel discussed the reorganization proposal at the meeting of the 8th of April 2024 through internal reorganization of the OGO and Efficiency Office. The Digital Policy Office would be set up. Members supported submitting the proposal to the ESC for consideration. Members also suggested that the administration promote data sharing between policy bureaus, departments, and public-private organizations, as well as allowing the industries to use the data to promote digitization. Members also asked how the Commissioner for Digital Policy Office would effectively fulfill his responsibility in providing steer of the policy on digital policy among government departments and bureaus, and that people with experience in the business sector or startups should be commissioned as the commissioner. I will invite the Secretary to walk us through the paper. Right. Chairman, members, I'm happy to be here at the meeting of the Establishment Subcommittee to brief members on the proposal of the internal reorganization of the establishment of OGO as well as Efficiency Office under the ITIB, so as to set up the Digital Policy Office as we promised earlier. The design is to allow a combination of innovation and industry. This involves consolidation of resources and restructuring, including the reorganization of OGO and efficiency. We need to set up a dedicated office to take forward the policies such as the development of a smart city and digital economy so that we can build a digital government and provide better public services and collaborate with the private sector in a more efficient manner. So as to enhance user experience, the Digital Policy Office will also be providing steer on data governance. Apart from digital policies and standards, the office will also promote a greater use of data among government bureaus and departments, such as fully digitizing government services, including the issuance of licenses and certificates, so that within 2024, we can also allow e-payment options for government services in full, both online and offline. Members of the public will be able to make payments using the faster payment system. Now, the Digital Policy Office will promote the use of I&T among government bureaus and departments so as to provide greater convenience to the public as well as the business sector, so that they can feel for themselves a smart city, digital government, and other policy measures that can bring convenience to the public. The Digital Policy Office will be tasked with a number of responsibilities. We need suitable or candidates with suitable caliber to take up the responsibility, and that means we need to proceed with internal reorganization. We also need to create one post of assistant director to take forward cross-boundary public services, cross-boundary data flow initiatives, so as to improve high-level policy planning and coordination. Details are set out in the discussion paper. According to experience, we also propose to change the Commissioner for Efficiency Office, which is a one-rank grade, into an AOSGB grade, Administrative Officer grade, Staff grade B1 post. And we also consulted the Legislative Council and ITIB panel in April this year. We have harnessed their support. This item is now before the Establishment Subcommittee for consideration. We urge members to support the proposal for the item to be submitted to FC for approval. Members, if you have questions, you may press the button now. There are 12 members in the queue: Professor Chan Wing-kwong, Dr. Chow Meng-kwong, Dr. Tan Yue-heng, Mr. Kenneth Leung, Mr. Kingsley Wong, Mr. Lai Tong-kwong, Mr. Stephen Ho, Mr. Shang Hailong, Ms. Carmen Kan, Mr. Chen Yong, Mr. Sunny Tan, and Mr. Robert Lee. Each member will have 5 minutes. Let's start with Professor Chan Wing-kwong. Thank you, Chairman. I'm happy to see that the Digital Policy Office will be set up very soon. In terms of the number of permanent posts and the change in the establishment, I have the following questions. First, according to the administration's paper, one of the deputy commissioners will be tasked with digital government. Now, I understand that there have been recent data breach incidents involving government departments, and it has a negative impact. Whilst promoting data sharing or sharing of personal information, how do we ensure cybersecurity? And when promoting data sharing among government bureaus and departments, will there be any KPIs? When it comes to e-government services or digital services, there are many criticisms from the community because of the series of blunders, such as the Invigilator Easy app, as well as the Smart Play app of the LCSD. It broke down on the first day of its commissioning, and these incidents tarnished the image of the government as a smart government. This proposal entails a merger of OGO and Efficiency Office, and that the digital policy will be set up as a result. My question is, how do we make sure that 1 + 1 is greater than 2, and how do we avoid these IT blunders to salvage public confidence? And that another permanent post of Assistant Director of Information Technology Services will be set up. Now, the administration's paper sets out the details of the post, but not the targets that this post holder should achieve. For example, can you tell us within how many years, how many smart lampposts will be installed? 3 questions. About the first question on KPIs, I think that Mr. Tony Wong will take this question in a moment. About the other initiatives that you asked, I think that we already answered this question on previous occasions. That is why we are setting up the Digital Policy Office. Now, after setting up the new office, the office will take over the responsibilities of the OGO. It will provide better policy steer and coordination to avoid IT blunders. We are in an era of innovation and technology. It is necessary to promote digitization and take forward the development of a smart city as well as digital economy. And in the process, it is inevitable that we face challenges. There is more to be decided when it comes to government services. In fact, recently, the OGO as well as the ITI Bureau have rolled out a number of targeted measures covering certain stages of the projects, such as at the project planning stage. How do we enhance the role played by different government departments? And in terms of system development, how do we make sure that it will be conducted smoothly? And before the formal rollout, stress tests will have to be conducted. These will be implemented among government departments as quickly as possible. About the newly created posts, I should explain that this is proposed against a backdrop of enhancing better integration into the country's development and promoting the flow of data across the boundary. These are new missions given to Hong Kong, and that is why a new directorate post will be created in the Digital Policy Office to ensure that we have the proper government official to take forward integration into the country's development. About KPIs, Mr. Tony Wong can take this question. Thank you, Professor Chan, for your question about this D2 post to be created. As the Secretary explains, we need to enhance collaboration and contact with the respective authorities in the mainland. In fact, last year, the 3-year plan on digital GBA was promulgated, and it sets out various initiatives covering different policies relating to people's livelihood. We also set up a dedicated task force in relation to the digital GBA initiative. Our goal is that once one measure is mature, we will be able to roll it out without waiting for the completion of the plan. And we will closely liaise with the Guangdong provincial government in taking these forward. As the Secretary explained, the high-level Digital Policy Office will help spearhead the policy and make sure that the government bureaus and departments will provide the necessary support to the initiative. About data security and privacy of personal data, on the whole, many government departments are doing quite well, all due to a comprehensive data and cybersecurity policy. But indeed, there have been some problems with certain systems of the government, and that is why we must plug the gaps. And we are going to commend the well-performing government departments and encourage them to roll out more e-services for the benefit of the public and the business sector. As for plugging the gaps, now the Digital Policy Office will provide dedicated support to the high echelons of government departments, and they will be urged to do the gatekeeping job properly. And as such, in the event of cybersecurity incidents, these government departments will be closely monitored in terms of their follow-up work. We will also step up regular checks on government systems. The Digital Policy Office will, on a regular basis, inspect the security of various systems on a random basis. We will conduct stress tests, simulated hacking incidents, infiltrations, etc., with the consent of government departments, of course, so that we can identify any mishaps at an early stage. We will also enhance the compliance checks of the systems. And towards the end of this year, we will also proactively take forward a cybersecurity drill so as to enhance the resilience of government departments against hacking incidents. We also considered that more training should be provided to the management of government departments on cybersecurity incidents so as to raise awareness. We're going to collaborate with the Civil Service College to organize more training for the management of policy bureaus and government departments to raise their awareness.
Permanent Secretary, we've gone over the time quite a bit. Will you make it brief in your reply to make it fair to all the members? Mr. Chairman Kwong. Chairman, thank you. I support the proposal of reorganizing the audio and the efficiency office. I've got three questions. In terms of the post, it is pitched at D2, and the ITD has been abolished, has been merged into the Bureau. The second is the Deputy Commissioner, and this has been merged with the Efficiency Unit. Now, with all these reorganization, the departments have been regraded. And also the Deputy Commissioner, there is one D4, two D3 posts, and they have their own division of work. But why is it that one is D4, the other two are D3 for the Deputy Commissioners? And as a result of the merging, many of the apps or the web pages and the web infrastructure will have to be clear through the DPO, the Digital Policy Office. So will the vetting process be inordinately long, thus compromising the public service? How will the administration prevent all these from happening? Thank you, Chairman. Thanks very much, Mr. Chow, for the question. I defer to the Permanent Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chow. Mr. Chow basically is concerned about the Deputy Commissioner office and also the Management Office. Now, basically, there are two titles. One is the departmental title, and also the grade title. Now, for the DPO, it is going to be the Digital Policy Office, and there are officers filling the post. We have the AO grade staff and EO grade staff. There are also the professional grade staff. We are using the existing title. So the grade title may not be the same as the departmental title, other than the AD position. We also applied the same to the management office title. Of course, where necessary, we can amend the title, but their functions are basically the same as before, so we are sticking with the same title. It is on this basis that we proceed this exercise. For the apps, whether this will be longer in rolling out under the existing policy, we will have to consider the stress test. I think in future, we'll have to consider this and also the costs. And now for the initiation and the approval, the process will go in tandem in order to enhance the steering and supervision of the digital policy office. All the work will be going in tandem. The introduction of new measures doesn't mean that the time taken will be longer. Mr. Chow, I go along with the Secretary. Now, the legislation is a bit complicated. Perhaps you might wish to talk to the relevant bureaus and departments. I think in some cases the legislation is anachronistic. Dr. Tan Yueheng. Thank you, Chairman. I support the proposal. Digital economy is the going trend, and digital economy is the future development, and also the restructuring of the industry. This is also the support for the new quality production force, and this is really going beyond the current level of audio and the efficiency office. And the digital policy office should be built on the basis of this. So I agree that the two offices be merged into the digital policy office. However, I've got two questions for Professor Sun Dong. First, with the establishment of the digital policy office, the immediate supervisor is the permanent secretary for ITIB. Why is it not that it is not coming under your stewardship, Professor Sun? Second, under the digital policy office, there are three branches: digital government branch, data governance branch, and digital infrastructure branch. I said that digital economy represents the way to go, and for digital economy, where would digital economy be housed under? Which branch will we be taking care of the digital economy development? Thank you. Secretary. Thanks very much, Dr. Tan, for your question. Dr. Tan has got a point there. The new office is a higher level than the existing offices. In terms of government setup, the head of the office will be answerable to the permanent secretary, who is responsible to the secretary. And this setup remains unchanged. But it doesn't mean to say the digital policy office is just an ordinary office. That this is an office which has the power conferred upon it by the chief executive. It has to do with many, many different departments. We're going to be rolling out measures regarding digital policy, which cuts across some different bureaus and departments. So other than the commissioner, the permanent secretary and the secretary will be responsible for a lot of work, and the work is the power is conferred upon but to us by the chief executive, and I can't see any particular problem with this particular setup. You mentioned digital economy. Who would be in charge of the digital economy, which is a broad concept. In terms of data governance, the DPO will play the steering and supervisory role, and this would be really important support for the development of digital economy. Digital economy is something that involves all government departments, like physical economy. Digital economy is not for one single bureau or department, it is for the entire government. I'm happy to discuss further with Dr. Tan. Thank you. Thanks very much, Secretary. My first question is, with such a massive revamp, we haven't really given sufficient importance to this idea. Now, for these three branches, digital economy is the ultimate objective, and whether it be data or infrastructure, it would be going hand in hand with digital economy. In other parts of the world, they have a specific authority dealing with digital economy. Now, this is something you would pursue further. Right. Thank you. Mr. Kenneth Leung. Chairman, thank you. With this restructuring and merging, I am in support of this direction myself. And going forward, smart government, digital economy are the way to go. Now, I've got a couple of questions for the administration. This is a merger of two offices. Presumably, there would be a manpower saving. With the merger, there would be a creation of one post. I appreciate that this is an important post, but would this be a time-limited post, depending on the work ahead? Maybe with the merger, we have achieved this synergistic effect, and the work can be undertaken by some of the staff there. Second, with the merger, in the entire government, and also in terms of the development of smart government, will this office be at a high level planning and proactively connecting all the bureaus and departments and to achieve a joined-up government? I mean, I hope that this will be sufficiently visionary. Thank you very much, Mr. Leung, for the question. Thank you, Chairman, for the question. I must emphasize that the creation of the Digital Policy Office is to merge two offices. We're not trying to reduce manpower. This is intended to strengthen its role. This Digital Policy Office cannot reduce manpower. If anything, we have to increase the manpower, and this is commensurate with the world trend. And we have to make sure that we have a smart government. There are a couple of statistics as a result of the merger. There are 900 people. I can tell members that there are 400 technical staff. And for the data centers, we have 150 people, non-technical people, 300 to 400 people in the entire government. The technical staff, we have 1,400, vis-a-vis civil service of 180,000. This number is too small, and this is not sufficient for the development. We have 1,000 technical staff spread across various departments. So for these IT positions and technical staff, we need to bring the number up. Of course, the government has the commitment to reduce manpower, but for this office, we have to increase the manpower because this is going hand in hand with the future development of IT.
这个新
The new Digital Policy Office will definitely be a high-level policy-making authority that provides not only steer but also coordination of the policies. The office will have power conferred by the chief executive, and we have high expectation on the office so that on digital government, data governance, etc., this office will be tasked with policy steer and formulation and coordination. That is why we need the Legislative Council's support so that with a joint effort we can take forward the Smart City initiative. Mr. Kingsley Wong, I fully agree that digital government is of utmost importance, and I fully agree that we should make a greater commitment to take it forward, including a big establishment. Now, I have a number of questions. First, this Digital Policy Office will be set up as a result of a merger of OJO and Efficiency Office. Now, the Efficiency Office has been playing an important role in enhancing efficiency. Now, can we include the word efficiency in the title of the new office? Because according to the paper, the function of the DPO includes enhancing efficiency, harnessing on innovation technology, etc. So there are two major objectives, digitization as well as efficiency. So we need both buzzwords to reflect the role of the DPO. The Assistant Commissioner post will be set up to take forward the Digital Greater Bay Area initiative. I think that you should make sure that this post holder gets in touch with reality and understand people's needs better. Because when it comes to digital GBA initiative, as Hong Kong people frequently travel to the Greater Bay Area, you should make sure that their voices are heard and their needs are met as well. Now, as a member of the Establishment Subcommittee, I often receive proposals about post creation but not reduction. How do you make sure that you will enhance efficiency? Through the Digital Policy Office, the policy of digital government will be taken forward. And you should make sure that the new policies will be able to help save manpower. Say if you're short of technical staff at the moment, then after adoption of IT solutions, will you be able to save manpower? Can you tell us that? 3 questions. Thank you, Mr. Kingsley Wong, for your questions. I fully subscribe to your views. In establishing a digital government, we also need to attach importance to efficiency. In fact, Ms. Patricia So, the Commissioner for Efficiency, is in charge of this portfolio. She will make sure that by the end of this year, all e-government services can be rolled out, and within the middle of this year, members of the public will be able to pay for government fees and charges electronically. In the second half of this year, office applications and solutions will be rolled out to enhance efficiency of government departments. As an ongoing exercise, as I understand, the civil service establishment should be reduced by 1% per year. So I think broadly speaking, we are going by this major principle. Now, like Mr. Kingsley Wong said, we need to put people first. We need to make sure that the policies will benefit the public as well as the business sector. Hong Kong will develop itself into a center for international center for innovation and technology, and we should continue to contribute to the country's development. In fact, I Am Smart under Mr. Tony Wong's portfolio has greatly improved. There have been more downloads. And in taking forward digitization, we need to make sure that we will reach out to the community and make sure even elderly people will be able to benefit from digitization. Of course, there's always more to be decided, and we'll be happy to discuss with Mr. Kingsley Wong further. Right, what about the third question about reduction of manpower after taking forward digitization? As I said, a new application will be rolled out to help alleviate the heavy workload on civil servants. And in the third quarter of this year, we are supposed to cut civil service establishment by 1%. Well, of course, if digitization is successful, we will be able to save manpower and surely efficiency will be enhanced. The Legislative Council will continue to follow up on this issue. Mr. Lai Tong Kwok, I support the proposal set out in the administration paper. In relation to the newly created post of Assistant Commissioner Mainland and Industry Collaboration, I have the following comments to make. This is a D2 post. According to the organization charts, he is underpinned by 2 D1 posts, being the systems manager. So altogether, according to this chart, there are only 3 people in charge of this portfolio, and yet this post holder will be taking forward a very important initiative, and that is the Digital GBA initiative. Many Hong Kong people travel to the Greater Bay Area on a daily basis, and there is the common refrain that we're unable to use the apps in our mobile phones when going up north and vice versa. Now, I know that you have taken forward initiatives such as the digital CNY wallet, so on and so forth. But there are so much more to be done. For example, it says here to liaise and coordinate with bureaus and departments and to lead and administer implementation of measures, so on and so forth. According to the Secretary in his opening remarks, this is all happening at the highest level. Well, this is a very important duty to liaise and coordinate with the bureaus, departments, and the business sector on the promotion of the digital GBA and co-development of a smart city cluster in a GBA. Is the post of Assistant Commissioner pitching at too low a level? That's only D2, underpinned by 3 subordinates. For the GBA office, for the digital policy office, we have 1 D6 and 3 D3s, D2s, and also other non-directorate staff. Now, of course, the GBA Development Office covers a wider portfolio. The Digital Policy Office, however, takes up a more focused ambit. I checked the record, and according to the administration's paper, the head of the GBA office is pitched at D6 because the culture in the mainland is that we need to find government officials at the suitable rank to be the contact point in liaising with mainland officials. So we'll be at the lower hand if we only have a D2 official in charge of this portfolio. So perhaps you should do more to ask for a higher ranking post to be set up, because for this D2 post holder, I think that they will, of course, face a lot of difficulties in liaising with the officials in the Greater Bay Area. My next question is this. Can you explain the respective roles played by the Assistant Commissioner Mainland and Industry Collaboration and the head of the GBA office? Can you tell us about the division of work between these two posts? Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Lai Tong Kwok, for your questions. Now, this post holder will take forward initiatives such as the Digital Greater Bay Area Initiative, as well as integration within the Greater Bay Area. We need to take a bottom-up approach, and that is why we need to lay a good foundation. And I agree with what you said. In fact, the D2 post may not be a sufficiently high-ranking official in liaising with the mainland authorities, but we do have a D6 being the Commissioner for Digital Policy, as well as Deputy Commissioners pitched at D4 and D3. And as Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry, I would need to represent the Hong Kong SAR government in the liaison process. I fully appreciate your concern. Perhaps further down the road, we will see whether we need to further adjust this establishment. You also asked about the coordination with the Greater Bay Area office. Now, after the Digital Policy Office has been set up, there should be greater liaison between this D2 post as well as the Greater Bay Area office. But I need to emphasize that this D2 post holder will be responsible for tackling the technical pain points. So there are also some specific problems when it comes to the cross-boundary data flow initiatives that we need to iron out with the relevant authorities in the mainland. And we will duly report our progress to the Legislative Council. Mr. Chan Hailong, let me declare that, first of all, I am a consultant, but I don't have any direct pecuniary interest in relation to this proposal. I think it is important that this Digital Policy Office be set up to enhance digital government and data governance. I understand that by the middle of this year, there will be full digitization of government services. We are approaching the end of May, and that means by the middle of this year, we have just 1 month or so to go. I wonder if the government will be able to meet this target. The Chief Executive earlier proposed 8 measures to be implemented within the end of this year, such as automated parking system on STT parking sites, issuing certificates and licenses electronically by using blockchain technology. I'd like to know which company has secured the first license electronically using blockchain technology. And also for cross-boundary public service initiative, I understand that the Hong Kong SAR government has signed a cooperation agreement with the Guangdong province. In terms of Hong Kong private cars going up north and healthcare initiatives, I'd like to know more details on the collaboration with the Guangdong province.
多謝議員嘅問題嚇，多謝主席。咁喺全面電子化方面咧，其實即係今年年中我哋嘅目標咧，我哋一直都有同呢個個別嘅部門啦去聯繫嘅。咁而家咧嗰個進程咧都係去到90%幾嘅啦。咁大家嘅部門咧都係有信心咧係可以。
We are achieving 90% of the target, and by the middle part of the year, all the application and approval of licensing and government services will be fully digitalized. For certain services, because of the legislation and international practices, one may need to make the application physically, and the most one has to do is to visit the government department once, and we are confident that this can get off the ground. For the other question, I defer to Mr. Tony Wong. Thank you. About the 8 proposals, we are taking these forward. Mr. Shang Hailong talked about the blockchain application. We are working with the Customs and Excise. They have to monitor the sale and purchase of the precious metal, and we can issue the digital licenses to these organizations via blockchain, and we can verify the veracity of the licenses online. This will go a long way to enabling the Customs and Excise work. As to the healthcare vouchers and the e-health records, through the flow of data and the memorandum of understanding entered into with CAC, we have already started cooperation with the Health Bureau, and we are working with the CAC of Guangdong Province regarding the e-health record, and this will facilitate the provision of the record. Mr. Shang Hailong, I think other than the flow of data, we need to settle the payment. I think we should also get this off the ground as well as soon as possible. Yes, we follow up. No supplement, Secretary. Next, Ms. Carmen Khan. Chairman, I speak in support of the proposal to set up the Digital Policy Office to develop a digital government. This is important. As the Secretary said, the digital government is not the sole responsibility of one single government, but this office will support the infrastructural development, and this is a massive step forward. And I've moved a motion which was endorsed for the government to promote digital government. We visited ASEAN in Malaysia, for instance. They have, in the end of 2023, split up their policy bureaus to have a Ministry of Digital. Now, my first question is, now with the government taking this step, there are so many issues to contend with under the Secretary's portfolio. You have to do the reindustrialization and all the rest of it. As the first step, you set up the Digital Policy Office, and this is very effective. But as you said, going forward, we have to get to grips with digital economy. The National Bureau of Statistics also talks about the digital China. During our visit, Malaysia is also doing the same thing. They have a specific bureau responsible for these specific function, finance, healthcare, economy. They have every single portfolio subsumed under this dedicated bureau. Now, we talked about cyber security. Now, we have a deputy commissioner in charge of the cyber security. And I think we ought to have a governance policy. There are 3 defenses. We should have a clear demarcation of responsibilities. Now, with this deputy commissioner in charge of cybersecurity, we need to have the right system. Also about the cross-boundary flow of data. This has been addressed. Now we have this cross-boundary flow now in the GPA. Now with this data flow in the GPA, how can we make sure that the data would be kept within the GPA instead of being transferred out of the GPA? How can we have the gatekeeping there? Secretary. Thank you very much, Ms. Khan, for the question. And let me address this in brief. On the first question, I entirely go along with what you said. Dr. Tan Yueheng expressed similar sentiments earlier on regarding the digital economy. Will the government have specific departments or bureaus? At the moment, this new Digital Policy Office is responsible for 3 areas of work: digital governance, digital government, data governance, and digital infrastructure. We have to deal with the pain point. We must have the foundation laid down. If there are good ideas, we are only too delighted to consider them. We must have the system in place first. Cybersecurity is just as important. The Hong Kong SAR government, the OGO, or the future DPO will formulate new policies. The whole idea is to strengthen the security of our IT system, and we will strengthen the role of supervision on the part of bureaus and departments. This is a very clear responsibility. They have to make sure that there is a clear line of responsibilities there. Second, we have to strengthen the examination and inspection of the standing infrastructure. For the public-facing government systems, we must conduct an examination, a scan, a leakage test, and so on. And also for high-risk infrastructure, we must have a clear audit system. At the moment, we do have the audit system, but this has to be strengthened in the interest of cybersecurity. And fourth, we have to do a good job with regard to cybersecurity. And fifth, there should be proper training. We have experienced some problems. A lot of them are man-made problems. Now we have to tackle these 5 areas. Now for cybersecurity, we will be rolling out specific measures. As to cross-boundary policies, we liaise with the CAC. We do have an effective supervision system. We have the contract entered into with the mainland strength to strengthen the area. We also have the privacy ordinance, and we do have the criminal liability there, and we will be stepping up our concern there. At the moment, things are progressing pretty smoothly. At the second half of the year, we will be rolling out all of these measures in the GPA. We're happy to listen to Ms. Khan's comments. Mr. Chen Yong. Thank you, Chairman. We've seen that many departments are really good at administrative work, but we've seen so many cybersecurity issues that this proposal is a step in the right direction. Now, Hong Kong is positioned as an international IT center, and we are running short of talents. Many bureaus do not have the expertise. Now, you have the expertise, Secretary, as a professional, but in this revamped setup, for those in senior positions, how many of them are really well up in IT? Do they have sufficiently high expertise in IT? you might fill the posts with people with sufficient expertise that would inspire more confidence. Second, different departments have their own supervisory structure. Will you be offering them input, or would you leave them alone and let them set up their own system? It's just like the fire service installations. If they have their own different installations, this is a recipe for problems. And if they are not capable of getting things in place, will you be offering them support? Now, if you leave them to their own devices, it would not be a good idea. Now, I'd like to find out more about it. Right? Any guarantee for high quality? Now, with regard to the rolling out of the system, we are formulating the relevant policies. Now, there is two different kinds of thoughts. Should we develop new systems, or should we build on the existing systems? I think when formulating the policies, we have to respect the political reality that we have to build on the existing system and fine-tune them. Different departments would, depending on their service needs, roll out their own electronic systems. And different bureaus and departments will be doing this, and some departments have their own IT teams. And we are taking this forward on this basis, but we need to strengthen our supervision. The first one is the planning of the projects. The future Digital Policy Office will be intervening in a more in-depth way. They have to put forward some technical proposals, and the DPO will vet them. For the contractors of large projects, we would be deploying experienced and senior staff to be part of the process. And in the course of taking forward the project, the proposal will be sent to us for vetting. And so we need to step up the vetting and our involvement. And third, prior to the commissioning of the system, there has to be an independent third-party stress test, and this is something that has to take place. So on the basis of the existing system, through the different supervision, we will be able to achieve good results. Also, Mr. Chan noticed that in many departments and bureaus, they don't have senior people who don't know much about IT. In many parts of the world, the leaders may not be IT people. So the system is very important. The policy has to be formulated in such a way that they will be properly enforced. And like if you don't know much about the IT, you have to follow the experts' advice. The system is important. Training is also just as important. The leaders may not know about IT, but you have to respect IT. You have to recognize the importance of this kind of work. If they don't know about this, they will follow the system, and that doesn't present any problems. Third, there has to be accountability. We don't say much about accountability, but this is an important concept in this kind of situation. Everyone has to be accountable. The DPO, will this be held accountable? Of course it is. Mr. Tony Wong is responsible for a lot of the systems. However, I'm smart. The cross-boundary data, he is responsible for all of this. He has to be held responsible if anything goes wrong. So everyone has a responsibility, and this is really the way to go.
Mr. Stanley Tan. Thank you, Chairman. I support the establishment of the Digital Policy Office as well as the proposed establishment changes. My understanding of the setup of the Digital Policy Office is that there will be digitization, enhancement to the digital infrastructure, data platform. These will be set up to facilitate digitization of government departments' work. So my question is on application, specifically application of AI. We need to be forward-looking. Adoption of AI can help streamline various procedures, such as compiling reports. I believe through using AI, we can achieve leapfrog progress. So I'd like to hear the administration's take on this. The second question is this. After formulating a digital policy as well as enhancing digital infrastructure, we should focus on users of digital technology, such as government departments and bureaus. They should review the work processes to see how services can be streamlined to meet KPIs. As well as addressing the issue of dead time and enhancing efficiency while saving manpower. We need experienced management to oversee this task. In the business sector, we usually set up a steering committee to oversee these matters. For example, we consider how we could maximize efficiency through digitizing certain work processes. We should go for the low-hanging fruits, and we should also consider quick wins that could achieve the greatest efficiency. So, who is to consider what departments should adopt digitization? What about achieving efficiency through new work processes? Say perhaps through digitization, even for work at community level, one staff could achieve the work of two. So this can help take forward initiatives such as the smart city and digital government. I'd like to have the administration's input on the application of I&T at various stages. One important starting point of the Digital Policy Office is to take a data-driven approach in building a digital government and enhancing efficiency, and that is the most important objective. That is why we propose merging OGO with Efficiency Office so that we can take forward both digitization as well as enhancing efficiency. Our primary consideration is to promote digital government and enhance efficiency. I believe that the DPO will address the recent concerns, and there will be more initiatives rolled out. On the use of AI, Mr. Tony Wong will take the question. Well, thank you, member, for the suggestions. Since last year, we have been promoting the wider adoption of AI among government departments. For example, we are developing we're developing locally with a university research team generative AI technology, which can help enhance the efficiency of government departments in terms of paperwork as well as the vetting of various applications. So this is the latest initiative in light of the technological advancements. We are actively following up on this, and once this is mature, this will be first of all tested in the ITIB and then further promoted to different government departments. We are also actively promoting the use of other AI-related technologies. I think Mr. Tan asked a very good question. Who is the lead authority in developing new systems? Because you will only be able to provide assistance if the departments first come up with this request. So give it a thought. Mr. Robert Lee. I support the establishment of the Digital Policy Office and the establishment proposal. In the future, OGO will merge with the Efficiency Office. This can help expedite the development of a digital government and enhance efficiency. After this internal reorganization proposal has been implemented, I want to know how you will bring greater convenience to the public and the business sector. Now, my concern is for non-financial institutions such as the Hong Kong Post. There is a collaboration mechanism to provide authentication of the identity of individuals for the purpose of opening bank accounts in the mainland. But I feel that the Hong Kong SAR government is perhaps placing too much focus on the financial services sector only, such as the commercial data interchange involving only financial institutions. For non-financial institutions, more should be done. Of course, with the participation of FIs as well, so as to bring more convenience to the public. The next question I'd like to ask about malfunctioning of the computer systems during elections. Now, this is a too big to fail incident. The government has major responsibility over this matter. How do you avoid a repeat of such mishaps? Another point is this. The government is still heavily relying on manual procedures, such as the Inland Revenue Department. I understand at the moment that for some applications, a paper-based application form is still required. So will you be expediting digitization so as to bring convenience to the public? I will invite Mr. Wong to take your questions first. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for your questions and suggestions. The Digital Policy Office to be set up will be focusing on building a data platform to facilitate the provision of public services. There is a platform for authenticating the identity of business entities. Now, I think that this initiative is, it echoes what the member said. It will strive to provide benefits to public and the business sector. We are at the stage of system design and planning, and we will be submitting the item to LegCo for funding approval in due course. And we also welcome views and suggestions from your sector about the use scenarios outside of the financial services sector so that we can help promote digital economy. About other questions put by Mr. Lee, such as the mishap of the computer systems during the election. I think the administration has already given an account, so I will save my speech here. I just want to say that a spate of serious incidents have happened as a result of problems identified in taking forward the digital government initiatives against the digital era. We need to quicken our pace, and in terms of manpower, the Digital Policy Office, and in fact the Efficiency Office, has rolled out a number of initiatives to promote digitization of government services. One point I want to emphasize is that the Digital Policy Office will not trump over other government departments. It will not be the lead in everything, and yet it will be the major driver of digitization. That means after the DPO has been set up, it will work closely with other government departments. Once problems are identified, a joint effort is needed to solve them. We cannot rely on the several hundred technical staff in the Digital Policy Office to solve every problem. This is what the Chief Executive has in mind, that the Digital Policy Office should take the lead in supporting other government departments to address problems. Mr. Tang Fei. Thank you, Chairman. I support the reorganization proposal to take forward the digital government initiative. As the Secretary mentioned, there will be a drill relating to cyber attacks. We all know that hacking is prevalent. Even schools have fallen victim to hacking activities. Is the drill about cyber attacks at the national security level? Because in the face of malicious cyber attacks, our financial infrastructure would have to be closed down, and it's akin to another round of color revolution. Now, I know that some new posts will be created. One is an Assistant Director of Information Technology. The other is an AO grade, as well as 8 posts to be transferred, mostly relating to the EO grade and the MSO grade, Management Services Officer grade. I have the feeling that it seems that the establishment proposal is placing too much emphasis on the administration side rather than on the technical side. You have MSOs, EOs, AOs, and according to the government's categorization, they are generalists, not specialists. Now, as you strive to enhance efficiency through digitization and not through traditional means, you should raise the status of specialists and technicians so that they are part of the management. Because even for the country's ministry, they also have the post of engineers in the management. And the same applies to our works department. Mr. Wong was also a member of the I&T grade or systems manager grade. So my question is, similar posts should be created within the Digital Policy Office to raise the powers and profile of the technical specialist grade instead of relying on generalists to manage the office. Against the era of digitization, I do have questions about this approach.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhang Fei, for the question. On the first question, the drills, there will be drills lined up for the second half of the year for the bureaus and departments. You mentioned the departments. We must have the national national security concept. The second question, this is a very good question. My understanding is that there will be recruitment of staff. The world is facing this IT era, and every single country is facing this. The ITIB has the responsibility there. We have to attach more importance to this. Now, all these positions are dealing with technical issues, and we are making improvement. Now, with this, the establishment of this DPO, we will enhance the training of the staff in the bureaus and departments. What you said is a long-term issue. The SA government has to be more smart as a government, and we would like to introduce more experts into the government. The important positions will be open, like the commissioner's position, and then we will be mounting recruitment for these. Well, in the interest of time, I'm going to draw a line after Mr. Chow. Thank you, Chairman. I support this institutional setup myself, and we need all these positions for the smart government development. I don't propose to go into too much detail about this, except to make a recommendation here. I noticed that members focus their attention on the development of digital government and so on. I've got a recommendation here. There may be opportunities to cooperate with overseas jurisdictions, like the Hong Kong MA has the Mbridge project. You probably have heard of that. This involves other jurisdictions. Thailand has already put in place the link with the FPS in Hong Kong. And I know that other parts of the world are quite interested in these Hong Kong MA projects. In future, if there are other jurisdictions, Thailand is a case in point, as I said, if there are other jurisdictions that would like to take forward these projects, I know that the Hong Kong MA is one of the leading organizations. Now, with this newly created Digital Policy Office, maybe you might wish to redouble the efforts to render them support. And I'm sure that this kind of arrangement would be good for the situation. Now, this is merely my recommendation. I'd like to hear from the administration. Secretary, thanks very much, Mr. Chow, for your recommendation. This is really a positive recommendation. I can let you know that I just came back from overseas, and we talked about smart city. When I visited the Middle East, the ASEAN countries, when we talked about cooperation, they all expressed interest in smart city. So when Hong Kong opens its door to cooperate with other jurisdictions, we have to do a good job ourselves first. I can foresee that I'm Smart is going to be a very good opportunity. And at the moment, of course, there are still issues to overcome. If there are good suggestions, please let me know. Mr. Lee Chen Kang. Chairman, the administration seeks to create a permanent post, and there is also the merging of different positions. Why is it that you are seeking a permanent post instead of a time-limited one? People are feeling this development. Like I'm Smart, we are feeling the changes, but different departments are simply minding their own business, and they are putting things in their own apps. Transport department, the health bureau, they have their own respective mobile apps. Why do we need a permanent post at this point in time? Second, do we need to mount recruitment for these posts, or is it going to be internal deployment? Like digital infrastructure, we need to have we have to move on with times. We can't be stuck in the past. Now we have all this quantum communication, the 5.5G development. All these we need to get connected with the world. We need people with the right caliber for these positions. How do you fill these posts? Second, for this position, it is also responsible for cyber security. So in terms of the security of our system, how much are we able to reduce the risks? Now we have all the drills for the departments and bureaus, and with this post holder, we can also have joint drills and stress tests together with GBA cities as well. Secretary, thank you, Mr. Lee, for the question. Your questions are really relevant. This post is about integrating with overall development of the mainland and the digital development of the GBA. This is a long-term task, so we need to have these long-term responsibilities, not just for 3 years. Are we not going to do it after 3 years? So this is something for the long term, it's something for the long haul. And second, now we have the commissioner, we have all these positions that can be recruited openly. We have internal people and people from outside. D2 is the starting post for the directorate grade. He has to accumulate the experience and also get connected with the upper echelon. And this is my understanding. I've been in the government for less than 2 years. So this position is for internal promotion, and this is a career path for internal promotion, but this is not the most important. That this position is of critical importance. We like to retain the talents because this is a task for the long haul, and this is a long-term position. We don't really want to have somebody who's there for a short time. And this may be controversial, and indeed, when civil servants are recruited, we have to consider these positions. And we are facing a lot of pressure, and this is an onerous task. The pay packages outside is good, so we will run the risk of losing our talents. So we have to keep our talents and let them have the prospect of promotion. So when we create the new positions, I think we have to make it open and consider recruitment territory-wide. And this position is not responsible for the monitoring of security. This is to integrate with the mainland. Thank you. Chairman, I am in support of this revamp of the institutional setup. I think in terms of efficiency, smart government and digital development, we have to make people feel the progress. With technological development, the ultimate objective is to facilitate the members of the public, make life easier for them. And people tend to feel that we are really plodding along at really glacial pace. Now, when we apply for make the application, it's only recently that we use the e-version for smart pay. People can make a booking online, but they cannot make any payment using Alipay or any e-payment. I've heard some complaints that with the simplification coming up, many organizations are making application for the venues, but they still have to fill out a form about the types of sports that they are going to be engaging in. They still have to use the paper-based means. I heard from the Secretary about a smart city. I think we face these problems of dilapidated buildings, water leakage, water seepage. If we can do something to help the members of the public, would be a good idea. And I hope that with this restructuring, we can truly deliver this. So, Secretary, what sort of resources do you have to coordinate all the departments that are public facing to make sure that they are operating more efficiently? Second, this is of a more technical nature. Para 11 refers to the fact that the efficiency office commissioner will be pitched at D2 and was the AO staff grade B, and my understanding is that for the single position, you can either deploy internally or you can mount open recruitment for that. So will there be any choice for the Secretary? Is it going to be appointed internally? In the light of previous experience, can you give us more information about this, Secretary? Thank you, Mr. Chen, for the question. On the second question, I defer to the Permanent Secretary. On the first question, the situation is this. We are facing this contradiction in terms of smart government and digital government. There are a lot of issues there. Now we have to deal with all these issues, but we are determined to move down this path. We experienced some problems in the past, but now things are moving smoothly, and people can feel the convenience brought on by this system. The government will be rolling out many measures according to plan to foster the development of smart government and smart city. That's precisely why we are setting up this digital policy office, and this is to spearhead the development there and deploy the right resources for this purpose. Second, about the post, I defer to the Permanent Secretary.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, member, for the question. The member asked about the post of Commissioner for Efficiency, who will be taking up the post of Deputy Commissioner Digital Government. For the Commissioner for Efficiency, in the past, the post has always been taken up by the AO grade. For the new post under the Digital Policy Office, the primary task is to take forward digital government. So this will be the major liaison point, and the Deputy Commissioner will also play the role of resource allocation and policy coordination. So we need the candidate of this with the relevant experience and caliber to take this post, and we find the AO grade staff to be suitable. Now, the member also asked whether we would attract talents from the outside to take up these posts. Now, in the Digital Policy Office, 2 of the 4 posts in the top echelons are subject to open recruitment. So that means 50% of these 4 posts will be subject to open recruitment. We find it to be a suitable balance. We will have experienced government officials as well as candidates with suitable experience from the outside to join the office. Dr. So Xiaoming. I support the reorganization of the government as well as the establishment proposal. Now, I have some questions. I listened to what you said very piously, Secretary, since you are the expert. There was a question on whether generalists or specialists should take up the management or managerial posts. According to the Secretary, this office will be in charge of specialized technical policies, and yet for the management, it's not necessarily that only specialists should take up the managerial posts. My take is that we need people with the professional knowledge and experience to take up the management of this highly specialized technical office. The same goes to Professor Sun Dong, who is a veteran in the field of I&T, to be Secretary for IT&I. I understand that for these posts, the post holders could either be from the civil service or recruited through an open recruitment exercise. So I'd like to have more details on that. Secretary, you also explained your plans about stepping up cybersecurity. So I take it that it has to do with digital infrastructure and cybersecurity. Is that right? Data security is one important element of national security. According to the paper, the paper is silent on data security and how it relates to national security and the respective division of work, because it's a balance between data sharing and data security and ultimately national security. I want to know whether there is any dedicated unit taking up this aspect? Well, I'd say that for those taking up the managerial posts, they should come with professional knowledge. In fact, in the past terms of the government, for the government chief information officer like Mr. Wong, the incumbent chief, they are candidates with experience as well as professional knowledge. That is why we allow both avenues, internal promotion and open recruitment, so as to field suitable candidates. The Commissioner for Digital Policy will first help the setting up of the Digital Policy Office, and then we'll take forward other initiatives. Cybersecurity and data security, of course, are important elements of national security. This is also the Hong Kong SAR government's concern. It's the cause of what happened in the past. That is why we need to lay a good foundation. We need to build our resilience against attacks from different sides. Well, the Hong Kong SAR government has made a lot of effort, but I don't think today is the right opportunity to discuss these matters. I do look forward to more exchanges with you. Dr. Loy Kwok. Chairman, I support the merger of the OGO and the Efficiency Office in order to set up the Digital Policy Office. INT is a highlight of the 21st century, and digital policy is of utmost importance. This paper provides an organization chart, and it elucidates the establishment proposal. I hope that advancements won't only exist in name. It's not just a change of title from the Efficiency Office to Digital Policy Office. We will be very disappointed if no substantive changes take place despite a change of title of the office. We hope that the Digital Policy Office will coordinate the formulation of policies to help Hong Kong grasp opportunities in the digital era, and government departments and bureaus will provide efficient public services through adopting digital technologies. Despite the reorganization proposal, I don't see a major change in the establishment. The OGO and the Efficient Office may have some overlap in terms of digital policies, but after all, they are not the lead officers. We need the high-level steer. Professor Sun, we have high hopes of your caliber. But it's not just about the change of an office. We need a paradigm shift within the government so that a consensus is forged to build or foster a digital culture. In fact, I don't have any question. My comment is that I support you in making this first step. It is a very important step. I don't think I need to pass criticisms. I just want to tell you our expectations so that we can all chip in and make an effort. Secretary. Thank you, Dr. Loy Kwok, for your encouragement. I thank you for your support as well. I just want to write on what Dr. Loycock said and explain the following. In fact, there are many changes after the Digital Policy Office has been set up, both externally and internally. There will be substantive and substantial changes. Apart from changes in resource allocation, more importantly, there will be a change in terms of the role given to the Digital Policy Office. We will be the major driver of adoption of technology among government departments and bureaus. As we turn to a new chapter in this new era, there should be a change in our culture, in our practices. So through the Digital Policy Office, we will drive a major change within the government so that the whole society moves towards a digital era. You're the third member to talk about the leading role of the Digital Policy Office. And you've told us that you have high expectations. The Permanent Secretary and myself will go back and mull over. Now we have digital government, data governance, and digital infrastructure. These are the three major branches. We need to step up our efforts, and we will go back and give it a thought. I believe that should there be a need to set up a new unit, we will have the LegCo's support. Mr. Edmund Wong. In this day and age, it is important to take forward digitization. The Digital Policy Office will be set up, merging the audio and the Efficiency Office. I support the proposal. Now my question is this. About digital government, according to the paper, the office will set digital policy standards for government departments and monitor the progress. Indicators, goals will also be set up. I'll save the rest. Now, my comment is that it is not an easy task to take forward the digital government initiatives. How will the Commissioner in the future accord priorities to the digitization of services provided by different government departments? Are there goals in the coming 1 or 2 years? Of course, every government department will consider their own digitalization proposal important. How do you accord priority with limited resources and manpower? Will you be coming back to LegCo for more funding and more manpower? Thank you, Mr. Wong, for your questions. The Digital Policy Office to be set up will have a lot on its plate, but the most urgent task is to plug loopholes in the cybersecurity network and address problems in our computer systems. We need to meet the public's expectations, and I think this is the most urgent task for the Digital Policy Office. Very soon, measures will be rolled out in this regard. For the Digital Policy Office, we propose to have 3 branches: digital government, data governance, and digital infrastructure. And this is how the establishment of the office will be set up under these 3 branches. And I agree with Mr. Wong. In fact, taking forward digitization is no easy task. Well, the Digital Policy Office will have a lot on its plate in the future, and the Permanent Secretary and myself are ready to face the challenges. we also have the support of the Chief Executive, and we welcome comments, suggestions from the LegCo members so that we can make a joint effort in seeing it through.
No follow-up. Next is Doreen Kong. Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I fully support this proposal to revamp the institutional setup to set up this DPO. I've read the paper, and I get the feeling that we talk a lot about the system, the data, but we do not talk a lot about the members of the public. Of course, we have to upgrade the system and the data, but the system and the data are not living things. In the entire digital policy, the overriding importance lies with the people. Of course, the officials, the government officials in charge of this, but the most important thing is to get connected with the public. And we cannot lose sight of the fact that we have to have connectivity with the people. Other than making things convenient, we should really get across more data, share more data with the public. I've got a couple of short questions. Perhaps the Secretary might address this. Para 10 and 13 refer to digital policy and data governance policy. Now, my question is, in these three branches, they have their own standard. Do we have any policy on integrated data for Hong Kong? And second, we have three different branches: digital government, data governance, and digital infrastructure. They are connected. I don't rule out the possibility that there may be some overlapping. The coordination is most important. Secretary, how can you make sure that the three branches will be properly coordinated? The other question is about the government departments. The government departments will have to work in coordination with the three branches, in particular the digital government branch and the digital infrastructure branch. The digital government has to do with the computerization. Digital infrastructure branch has to do with cybersecurity. Now, the departments will have to approach three different branches instead of one single entity. How can you enhance the communication and cooperation? Finally, subject to time, 1A23 is put in charge of the data governance branch. Why not under the digital government branch? Thank you very much, Ms. Doreen Kong, for the question. Thank you very much for your suggestion. When we formulate policies, we have to put the members of the public first, because we have to make sure that the public would understand the policy, and we humbly accept your comments there. You talked about the coordination, we have the integrated entity. The mainland has its own digital policy. The GBA has its own digital policy. In Hong Kong, we are setting up this DPO. Do we have the coordinated effort? I think we have to leave it to the DPO. Of course, we do have the plan now. The three branches are related: digital government, data governance, and digital infrastructure. They are three different branches, but they are all intertwined. I think that they are all related. For the setting up of a smart government and smart city, without the digital infrastructure, we cannot begin to talk about the AI, big data, the cloud service. And data governance is also important. It has to do with cyber security and national security. There is so much work to be undertaken. I'm sure that going forward, the Commissioner and the Deputy Commissioners will be considering this. And if we can come up with a straight answer today, we don't have to do all these preparation work. Now, 1823, under the policy, we have to resolve all the pain points. The acceptance is high enough, and we have to resolve all the issues that you raised that have to do with the members of the public. There will be new measures to be formulated. I am prepared to communicate with you on this. It has to do with the work that is lying ahead of us. Thank you. It's my turn. Next, we have 20 members who have put questions this morning, and I heard that all of them are in support. Of course, they expressed some comments about the minute details. I'm in full support of this digital policy office. When we visit the mainland, I get the feeling that we really have to catch up. Now, with regard to digital government, I've got a question here. As I said to the Permanent Secretary and the audio, now, many times the data collected for one particular legislation would be only for one single department, and it may take a long time to get all the data connected. Is there any way to have some sort of overriding piece of legislation to take away the limitations so that the data collected subject to privacy not being infringed will be connected across all departments to speed up the process of smart government? Now, members also raised an important point that with this DPO being up and running, it doesn't mean the answer to all the problems. Under your stewardship, Mr. Secretary, we have to make sure that all the bureaus and departments will be putting in the same direction and move in the direction of digitalization. Secretary. Thank you. Thanks very much, Chairman Yik, for the question. In terms of building a digital government, we set up this digital policy office to make sure that the data will be connected. If you notice, last year we published the policy objective of getting the data connected. One of the objectives, one of the tasks of the Digital Policy Office is to make sure that this is happening. At the moment, we have achieved some tangible results. We have the new version of I Am Smart to address the pain points. Now, people are complaining that the registration is taking too long a time. In fact, if we can get the data connected and resolve all these issues, and in fact, the departments are prepared to release the information to the I Am Smart, so people can only use the ID card to do the registration. This is one of the examples. Through the connectivity of data, we can promote the development of digital government to the benefit of the public. There are so many other examples, like we are promoting a lot of data work. We have the data interchange, the CDI that has been rolled out, and this is also an example of connectivity of the data to facilitate the business and the members of the public. So these are by way of examples to show that data connectivity would be essential to the development of digital government to make sure that we can go further and faster. And this digital policy office is providing the steer. Thank you. But as we said, we'd like to see tangible results soon enough, and we hope that we can speed up the progress. All right, so much for the questioning, and I'd like to put this item to the vote. Will members in support of EC 2024-25-2, please raise their hands. Those against? I think members voting are in favor, the majority are in favor of this proposal. The proposal is endorsed. So let's move on to the next voting. Do we propose that this be discussed at the Finance Committee, and that is paper EC 2024-25-2? So we propose that this be discussed by the Finance Committee. That's EC 2024-25-2. Please note that if you vote in favor, it would mean that it would be repeated discussion at Finance Committee. With those in favor of this proposal, please raise their hands. Those against? I think the majority of members voting are in opposition to this proposal. This is veto. We don't propose that this be discussed again at the Finance Committee. That's paper EC 24-25-2. So much for today's meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for the 30th of May 2024. That's a Friday between 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. Please block out your diary. Thank you all very much.